there, and thanks for joining us. This week, we've been to Tiveden National Park. We also visited some friends who have a house just outside of that national park, and that's actually a special house for me because I was part of the designing process of that house. What else have we done? Oh yeah, we drove out to a wind farm with the wind turbines. That was pretty cool. So a while ago, a couple of friends of ours took their family out to a wind farm, like a bunch of wind turbines generating electricity. Not sure if it's called a wind farm. I think it is, though. Oh, yeah, and the mother in the family is a really good photographer as well. So she was getting some great shots of her family right next to these wind turbines, with the wind turbines in the background. So we thought we'd check that out. On our way to another event, we kind of made a detour and drove out to these wind turbines, and it really was cool. So we quickly noted a couple of things. For one, these wind turbines are huge, like impressively massive. And since there's really not like a motor or anything spinning the propeller, like it's the other way around, right? The wind is spinning the propeller instead. It means there's not like a motor noise, so you can actually hear the wind turbine propeller blade, which is like big as a couple of wings, as it like whooshes by. So like it's spinning and you're standing below it, and that thing comes by overhead, and it's pretty massive, and it's making a lot of whooshy noises, which is really impressive, really cool. You also see how much brute force the wind has on these massive propellers. Like, to move that is pretty impressive, and to move it at that speed is pretty impressive. I think the girls thought it was cool, but maybe weren't as impressed as Erica or I was. Oh well, it was fun. They had a lot of fun. They thought it was cool. Also, the dirt roads leading up to these wind turbines would make for a great rally course. Obviously, I'm in a minivan, so didn't really have a chance to do much rally driving, but nonetheless, one can dream, right? I should also mention the unique right of public access that anybody in Sweden has, and everyone has the right to like walk, bicycle, ride a horse, camp on any land, right? Public or privately owned land, with the exceptions, of course, like you can't park yourself in or walk across somebody's private garden and next to somebody's house. You can't walk across fields that are like, there's crops growing under, I think it's called cultivation, I think. Anyhow, you're free to roam pretty much everywhere, and it's like it's written into the law. So it's called the freedom to roam, and roam spelled R-O-A-M, not R-O-M-E. Big difference. With that right, of course, comes the responsibility. Like you have to respect nature and like don't leave stuff out in the woods, but also respect landowners and anybody else that you meet on your way. So the why I'm saying this, of course, is because the windmills, or not windmills, the wind turbines that we went and checked out, they're probably on private land. But since there's really no way to make sure that nobody goes up there and checks these wind turbines out, the company that installed these or that owns them, they actually did a neat. They solved this in a neat way, right? And so instead of trying to hold people away, they open it up. So all the gravel roads, the dirt roads that lead to the wind turbines, they're open, and there's actual signs like wind turbine 7 through 18 that way, and 1 through 5 that way, and whatever. So that's actually A, very Swedish that people can roam anywhere, and B, that was actually a really good take on that to open it up and actually make it really accessible, and not just like you have to park your car and walk over there. I think it also helps because I know that there were some people who were kind of unhappy about having this wind farm. Well, nobody lives there, but I guess close by, there's always somebody protesting, I guess. But this, I think, really helps with that, making it accessible, and people can go out there and kind of check this out, make it a day trip, and go see the huge wind turbines. So kudos to the company who built those. Let us know in the comments if you've ever gone and checked one of these, maybe not here in Sweden, but if you've seen one of these wind turbines up close, and if you were as impressed as I was at how massively huge these machines are. It's pretty cool. As always, thank you to everyone who is subscribed to our channel. If you're not, please do. Also check us out on Instagram, Meandering Rights there as well. We really do appreciate you following along, and we hope that we can bring some, well, maybe entertainment, but also some value and inspire others to explore in your own country or somewhere else or anywhere in the world, I guess. So about 2 hours south of here is the, I don't know if it's the biggest national park of Sweden, but it is one of the larger ones, Tiveden. And it has a ton of hiking trails, really cool, well, we can't really call it rainforest, but it's an interesting forest, really dense, really thick. And we were actually here about a year ago, our whole family, and then with my sister and her family, they had camped there, and we hiked with them. Fun story on that, though. They had stayed there one night in a tent. We drove down from our old house and met with them, like the parking lot. We went there and parked the car, and they came to us and put their tent away in their car. And we were going to go for a hike, and the idea was to like eat halfway. So we had just a ton of food in a giant hiking backpack, which was on my back because it was actually too heavy for Erica to stand up with it on. So she had Annabelle on her back, and I had all this food. And I kind of mentioned, actually, I think I more than just mentioned, that we could, of course, leave the food in the car, do a hike, come back, and then eat somewhere close. But everybody was very, they really wanted to eat out wherever this was, the eating place. So we start walking, and about, I don't know, a quarter of the way into the hike, we realized that it's too advanced for the girls, right? The smaller kids aren't going to make it through all the advanced sections of the hike, I guess. So we actually wound up choosing another hike midway through, and it turned into a loop, and we came back to the cars, and I carried the lunch and a ton of watermelon. Erica had cut up like an entire watermelon. So I carried that around the entire hiking loop. We came back to the cars, and then we ate about 100 meters away from the cars. I was super happy about this. Lesson learned, though. Number one, watermelons is not the best fruit to bring with you on a hike. And number two, if possible, do the hike without the food and then eat next to the car. That works really well. Of course, unless there's a really cool eating spot and you can make it out there. That's fine, too. It probably wouldn't have been a great lunch halfway through the hike as well. It was just somewhat irritating to do a hike, carrying food back to the car, and then eat right next to the car. Duh. Anyhow, this time we weren't lugging around watermelons or lunch. Definitely not watermelons. We don't do that at all when we hike. But we did a quick hike, returned to the car, drove out to lunch, and then continued on our journey. Fun hike, though. This is a really cool national park, so highly recommend it if you're in the area. Tiveden National Park. Yeah, girls enjoyed it. Hiking with the three little ones is actually a lot easier than you may think. One key, of course, is to start early so that they kind of get the drill of how to go hiking with a family early on, and it kind of becomes a natural part of their, well, not day, because we don't do this every day, but they can handle a hike, right? At least that's how it worked out for us. Annabelle, who's 3, she can do most parts of hikes, even when it's really, really steep and you're using both hands and feet to get up. But sometimes she needs a little extra push, either literally push to get her up, or we just pick her up and carry her, and that's fine too. We'd actually, nowadays, we don't use one of these baby carrying backpacks, although they're awesome, but Annabelle does a really good job just walking on her own with her sisters, and if it gets too steep or too rough, then we'll help them. That's okay. That's kind of how it works. And with all these blueberries and blueberry picking going on, they're entertained. We aren't moving really quickly because we keep eating blueberries on the way, but they're getting to experience the forest, picking blueberries, hiking, hanging out with the family, and that's kind of what's important for us anyway. So we enjoy it. As you might have noticed, with all the blueberry picking going on in our last couple of videos, there's a lot of blueberries in Sweden this time of year. So some friends of ours live pretty close to this national park, and we visited and stayed with them for 2 nights. And it was actually really special. So we enjoy hanging out with them whenever and wherever we can, right? So we have a lot of fun. But this time was extra special because we got to see their new house that is, well, it's just completed. They're still working on the exterior, painting the exterior, and then working on their garden. The house was ready. And extra special, of course, because I got to be a part of the designing process of the house. So our friends bought a pre-designed house from a house manufacturer, and they asked me if I could help them redesign it a little bit and make it fit their needs even better. And I've been designing houses forever, as a kid before computers. I'm that old. Before computers, I would draw on just graph paper and draw floor plans and layouts of houses, buildings, I guess, any building. Then as computers came along, I've been just using Google SketchUp. Now it's not Google anymore, but SketchUp and designing these houses in 3D. So I thought it was a lot of fun when they asked me if I could help them redesign and rethink the house. So we took the floor plan that they had from the house manufacturer and we'll kind of custom made it. So redesigned some stuff, rethought some things, and kind of made it fit with what they want to do. Spent a lot of evenings and weekends working on this, and I really enjoyed it. But it's of course really, really fun for me to get to see a house that I've been part of the designing process and actually get to see it live, like it's really been built. My other houses, which there are many, are just stored on my computer, so it's just a 3D file, right? Now suddenly there's this real house, and we're walking around in it, and that was really cool. And cool to see the house, but also very fun to see how well they've done the interior design and how awesome this house looks when they've put their touch and their interior design on it as well. So a huge shout out to our friends for letting us crash at their place, and I'm really thankful as well for being able to be a part of the designing process of the house. Great fun. We'll leave you with the inspirational video of interior design, if you thought it was inspirational. Maybe. I hope so. I think it is. I thought it was great. And until next time, remember to have fun. See ya!